Bring your stick up.
It gets prettier every week.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, that's pretty. God, that's
That's
pretty.
pretty. That's pretty.
We don't watch this to make professional.
Wait a second.
Looks like John.
We're not just, that's one step beyond.
Wow.
Denmark national anthem.
All the way from Denmark.
That's a pretty special send-off.
I use the Swedish flag.
Greenland Davids.
I think we should quit everything but apple fritters.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You did Valentine's Day.
Is it sold out? Pretty one.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I was born in Cleveland, Ohio on August 12, 1942, and I'm an only child. Many of you have lived in other countries and other cities, but I've lived my whole life in Indianapolis and have witnessed the growth of Indianapolis in a very personal way. My family moved to Indiana right after World War II. We lived in Broad Ripple on College Avenue.
Yep.
Are any of you familiar with the Northside Social
Oh, yeah.
Restaurant?
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a credit union in the same small shopping center. It's hard to say. When we lived there, that credit union was a duplex house, and we lived on the north side of the duplex house. Lily Orchard was an actual orchard where Park Tudor School is now. My grade school, John Strange, was where the current Glendale Library is now. Glendale Shopping Center didn't exist, but was a field across from where my family lived. Do any of you remember getting cider or caramel apples at Lily Orchard?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Or riding the ponies at Little America? Probably nobody rode the ponies, but you may have had someone there riding them. My first job was to lead the ponies with the little kids on top around the circle at Little America, which was quite exciting. Those ponies never missed a chance to step on my feet. I have had difficult relationships with horses ever since. John Strange Elementary was the first through the 8th grade school, and the boys at John Strange took shop. I have a vivid memory of a shop class where Mr. Hall, who was very focused on how to use safety equipment, in demonstrating how to hurt yourself, how not to hurt yourself by using the bandsaw, he cut his finger off. And there was lots of blood. And boys tried not to snicker, but it was very hard to do.
You cut it on a bandsaw, you're not worthy.
Nobody liked Mr. Hall, actually, so it wasn't so bad. I was with the first full graduating class at North Central High School in 1960. We were the first class. We had freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. And then the next year, juniors, sophomores, juniors, and seniors. The seniors were allowed to graduate from Broad Ripple and Shortridge, where they had gone all their lives. I played baseball at North Central High School, and as a catcher, I broke my finger. Now, I don't want you to be offended, but that's the finger. I was named made most valuable player in 1957. Disappointingly, no major league scouts came to recruit me. I don't know why.
The broken finger.
It was the broken finger, that's right. In the fall of my senior
Hold the mic up.
In the fall of my senior, thank you. In the fall of my senior year, I was in a bad automobile accident at the corner of Meridian Street and 86th Street. You remember it was a thing called Road 100. A drunk driver ignored the red light and blindsided our car. I was riding with two friends. This was back before they had bucket seats, so it was a bench seat, and we were all three sitting in the bench seat. I wound up with a broken pelvis, and my baseball days were over. There was one thing that was very positive about the accident, because the young lady that my friend was with introduced me to my wife, Kathy, who I guess his picture is up there. I'm not sure. And is that the picture of us as teenagers? We're teenagers.
Oh, really?
It's hard to believe, isn't it? Teenagers. After North Central, I went to Purdue to be an engineer. But I realized my talents are more in the liberal arts area. I became an English major with a concentration in American literature. Now at this time, I was going to stand up and sing the Purdue Fight song, but with this apparatus in front of me, I can't do that. So I apologize to all of you, because I know you wanted to hear it. And I must also say that during this last football season, we were very, very glad that IU, which by the way, was one of our other alums, won the championship. I played Sigma Chi during my time in the house. Both Bob Greasy and Dave Shellhouse, all Americans, were also brothers. During my early years at Purdue, I had lots of fun, but didn't manage my time very well, and my grades suffered. Can you believe that? My grades suffered. I questioned my academic abilities and decided to take Russian to see whether I was stupid or just not working very hard. Well, it turned out I wasn't stupid, so that was a good thing. By my senior year, I got permission to take a graduate course in American literature, and we read a novel a week, which was pretty heavy load for an undergraduate student, because graduate students at that time only took 2 courses a week. So I had a lot of reading to do. I really enjoyed Purdue and my liberal arts major. I've told some of you, and I'll tell you again, I'm a Buckeye by birth, a Hoosier by choice, and a Boilermaker by the grace of God. Because of my love of Purdue as an alum, I chose to become involved in the College of Liberal Arts Dean's Advisory Council. I was president of the College of Liberal Arts Alumni Association and was recognized as a CLA College of Liberal Arts. Kathy told me not to say CLA. Distinguished alum in 1991. This is what I got the trophies are much nicer now. Excuse me. I graduated from Purdue and enrolled at IU Law School in Bloomington. Kathy and I got married my second year of law school in 1966, and Kathy taught Spanish at Columbus and Bloomington to support us. Another third-year law student and I fished almost as much as we went to class. One early spring, we were fishing at Lake Ogle in Brown County Park. We'd been fishing for a while with no luck, and the park ranger came up and asked us for our fishing licenses.
Like Bobby Knight.
We had the licenses. We chatted with him for about 30 minutes, and as he walked away, he said, "You boys would have better luck with your fishing after the ice goes out, when the fish can get to your bait." There was 2 inches of water on top of the ice, and we were fishing on that water.
And you'd already graduated from college.
Where was the bear?
That must have been it.
The beer.
Yeah. I graduated from law school in 1968, and we moved back to the north side of Indianapolis. I went to work at the American Fletcher National Bank Trust Department. I worked in the tax division for a year and moved to account administration for a couple of years. Ultimately, I became the attorney for the trust department, and I was the attorney for the trust department for about 30 years. Let's see. We ultimately merged with Bank One, Ohio, and did a lot of acquisitions for Bank One. As the attorney for the trust department, I was involved in due diligence and charged with examining trust departments that had potential liability for the bank that was acquiring the trust department. Very few people knew that if a bank had $1 billion in assets, effectively, that was $1 billion of potential liabilities for the whole bank. Now, none of those bank acquisitions failed because we turned things up, but we did turn some things up that we wish we hadn't. One of my most interesting assignments was in Alaska.
Oh, yeah.
I traveled to Nome, Alaska with the chief trust officer, chief investment officer, trying to analyze the feasibility of buying a government guaranteed bond issue. The issue was to be used by Alaska Airlines to sell the King Island Eskimos the Nome Nugget Inn Hotel. It was in September and it was cold. The transaction didn't go through for a number of reasons that I won't go into, but it was a very interesting experience. There should be a couple of pictures of Nome. One is, and I can't see it, so I'll have to go by memory. The finish line for the Iditarod. You know the Iditarod race from Anchorage to Nome, or the dog sled race? They pull that out in the middle of the street, and that's what all of the bushers cross when they finish the Iditarod. I don't remember what the picture. Oh, it's Mount Alyeska. In 1977, the Trust Department created and publicly sold a closed-end mutual fund named Circle Income Shares. I served as the initial secretary, and I had the responsibility for preparing the annual reporting to the Securities and Exchange Commission and supervised their periodic examinations. I ultimately became president and chairman of Circle Income Shares Board of Directors. When the SEC would come in to examine, they'd come in with two people, a lawyer and an accountant. And their premise when they came in was, we know you've broken the law, we're just here to find out how you did it. In 1999, Bank One, which had acquired AFNB, wanted me to move to Columbus, Ohio, where they were headquartered. Kathy had just decided to take a new career path and had gone to law school. She passed the Indiana bar exam, having taken the first day of the exam on her 50th birthday. Needless to say, the second day of the exam, she was a teetotaler that evening. She was just beginning to work as a lawyer, and neither of us wanted to move to Columbus, Ohio. So I left the bank in December, and the Trust Department gave me a recognition dinner, farewell dinner. I didn't retire, I just left at the Rathskeller. It was a really, really fun time. I ended my career with the bank in 1999 as vice president and senior trust counsel. And I should mention, while he's not here, Larry Hanna was also at the bank at that same time, one of our fellow old grumpy people. For the first time in my life, I didn't have a job that I needed to go to. So I decided to take the month of January off. I enjoyed that so much, I took the month of February off. About August, Kathy said, "Don't you think you should start looking for a job?" At that time, I put a few feelers out and became of counsel with Hallrender, Killian, Heath, and Lyman, which is a mouthful, where I worked with Hoosier, with fellow Hoosier Village resident John Spidorsha. You've all met John, I'm sure. I spent 20 years there and retired in 2022. Kathy and I have 3 children, Sarah, Seth, and Dan. Here's a picture when Sarah and Seth were teenagers and Dan was still a little kid. Dan was born 11 years after Seth, when I was 42 and Kathy was 40. I was more than once assumed to be his grandfather. We have been blessed with all three of our children. Sarah and Dan live in Westfield and in Fishers, and Seth lives in Vermont. Kathy had a shower for her 40th birthday where everybody gave her a card that said, "I'd rather be 40 than pregnant." But she was. We have 5 grandchildren ranging from ages 23 to 15. We have vacationed together regularly, and we are all close with them. It goes without saying that they're all outstanding.
Nice family.
We've always been animal lovers, except with ponies. Our current dog is Foxy, who you may have seen around the perimeter with us. As a boy, I had always wanted to canoe and camp in the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness, the BWCAW, which, by the way, is the license plate on my car, if you'll check it out. But my parents weren't outdoors people, and we never got to that point. In 1978, a good friend invited me in to go with him and his 11-year-old son to Ely. Both the Boundary Waters and Quetico are designated wilderness areas. We made a very short trip, but it was enough to get me hooked. Now, has the hat picture up? This hat, these pins, represent a trip. Each pin is a trip. Some pins are overseas trips, but most of them are pins of trips to the Boundary Waters. I returned to the Quetico with Seth in 1984, and I've taken 23 or 24 trips. I've lost count with my family members, both my sons, my daughter, my son-in-law, my wife, and also a group of avid fishermen from Elwood, Indiana. Mentioned the fact that the license plate on my car is BWCAW. So if you see that, or if you go past our house, you'll see my canoe hanging in the garage. At age 53, I had a minor heart attack, if a heart attack can be determined to be minor. Kathy and I had done a little international travel and had always wanted to do more. The health scare caused us to really become international and intentional about international travel. We were able to do so. Now, I made a list of 23 or 24 countries we've been to, and Kathy said, if you read that list, everyone will fall asleep. So I don't want any of you to fall asleep. But you have any questions about any countries, we've been all over the world. We've been to all the continents except Antarctica, almost every country in Europe. We've been on safari and to the Galapagos. You're probably familiar with Peru, Indiana. Well, there's an Indiana, Peru, believe it or not. Right on the Amazon. I have no idea why they named that town Indiana, but it is Indiana, Peru. For years I've been fascinated with Egypt and the pyramids and the tombs. During my trip there, we cruised the Nile, visited Abu Simbel and the Valley of the Kings. Here are a couple of pictures from the trip. I don't know which they are, but there are a couple of pictures because I can't see them. Let's see. We also began going to work service trips for our church. Our first such trip actually, was in 1994 to Russia. Shortly after the collapse of the Soviet Union, when Boris Yeltsin was the leader. Our work was on a collective farm building a house for Russians returning from the Eastern republics. And that in itself is a story that I could spend probably an hour telling you about. It was fascinating. Here's a picture of the village where we spent 12 days. We stayed in a new house where the toilet leaked profusely and had no seat. One of the men with us, who was a civil engineer, fashioned the toilet seat for us.
Oh, that looks good.
Russian toilet.
Well, it was better than the porcelain, I'll tell you. The porcelain, especially in the morning, was quite cold.
Get splinters.
Yes, indeed. Well, we sanded it pretty well. Our construction tools were very primitive and limited. I did carpentry work with my Swiss Army knife, if you can believe it, because it was better than anything available. There were large pieces of farming equipment and excavating equipment just rusting and lying around in the village, serving as climbing toys for the kids because there were no parts to fix them. This was the time that we were terribly afraid of Russia. They put all of their money into the military. The rest of the country was third world, literally third world. There's a picture of the equipment in the village. You saw the house in the background of the picture when Kathy and I were teenagers. Oh, the bus. This is the bus that took us from here to there. It was not reliable, not very well appointed, and most of the windows were out and filled with metal. The house that you saw in the picture with Kathy and me was the house that Kathy's parents had built, and we ultimately purchased that house before we came to village, before we came to Hoosier Village just about a year ago. We knew that it was time to relocate from the 2-story attic, basement, large yard home, but it was hard physically since we'd lived there for 48 years. And boy, did we have a lot of stuff to get rid of. And boy, did we bring the wrong stuff. It always works that way. Let's say we moved with mixed emotions. However, we have found Hoosier Village to be a welcoming and very active place, filled with all of you talented and interesting people, and we're very glad to be here. Thanks for listening.